Good morning. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals. Welcome to 30 minutes of my day. My name's Catherine, in case you're new here. And if you are new here, thanks for dropping by. I usually turn on my camera for 30 minutes, and whatever I get done, I get done. So today I'm going to finish sealing the covers of the quintuplets, I've been calling them. So they're mostly done, the covers, not the whole journal. And I've got them mostly finished being sealed. Pardon me. So I thought I'd bring you along because I just have the one last area. And I thought I'd explain, what I do and why I do it. For sealing a cover, I usually use I Mod Podge. I get these little bottles at Dollar Tree, and it's terrific because you always know you've got a fresh bottle. So and they're recyclable, so they just go in my recycling when I'm done. So you can't beat that. That's for 2 ounces of Mod Podge at Dollar Tree. Okay. Oh, all right. I've had a few people ask. My first tangent of the day. Yay! Oh, hold on. Speaking of tangents, I better put my timer on. There we go. I've had a few people ask about my tear ruler and what name brand it is, and it is the brand called Plaid. I got it on garage sale, so I don't know where you would purchase it. I've never seen it again at stores like Michael's, or the few times I've been over the border and I've gone to, Joann's and Hobby Lobby and that. To me, I'd never heard of this. And now I'm looking at the Mod Podge and look who it's made by. Plaid. So there you go. First tangent of the day. My Mod Podge company made my tear ruler. So it's an okay tear ruler. I mean, for the price I paid for secondhand, it's terrific. I wish it was clear. But on the other hand, because it's metal, it's really tough, and I can really crank through some thick paper on this. So I guess you sort of have to choose what qualities you want and what qualities you're willing to give up in a tear ruler. So anyhow, back to Mod Podging my covers. Now, which one is done? Well, I've got one of them completely done, and I think it's Evelyn. I think Evelyn is finished. Yes, Evelyn is done. So you know what? I'll explain what I do and why I do it. And then, if you find that interesting and you want to try it, go right ahead. And if you do something different and it works for you, you know what? Stick with it. So Evelyn's cover is all done. And you might see, I hope you can see the swervy brush strokes. Some people don't like that. And some people will use their brush. This is a Dollar Tree brush. And just really, really keep their strokes smooth so that they get just a nice mirror edge finish. And I get that. But I like when you can see some brush strokes on it. I just think that it makes it almost look like a painting. So, oh, you got something on you, Evelyn. There we go. I actually do that on purpose. In case you're wondering, I like the brush strokes, so I actually don't even mind if it goes on a little bit thicker. Now here's my routine, and I'm mostly through my routines with the other 4, but I thought I'd turn my camera on this morning and get going on a few of them. I have a method to how I seal with Mod Podge, the liquid Mod Podge, that I have found I like the finish the best. So, and this isn't even the final sealing. You'll find that liquid Mod Podge will still, especially in humid areas or during a humid time of year, it can still feel a little bit tacky. Like right now, it's very dry where I am. It's winter. So this feels fine. But I know that in the spring, because it's water-based, it could start feeling, it won't affect the durability of it, but it'll almost feel like, you think, oh, maybe I have to wipe this down, sort of thing. So I will still do a really quick aerosol sealant on this when I'm done. And again, I just use the Mod Podge aerosol sealant. That's a true sealant. This mostly puts a lovely finish, a unified finish on your book. And for me, it gives me those lovely brush strokes that I like to see. But if I didn't want to see the brush strokes, I could go straight to the aerosol sealant and just seal this down, and it would be very matte. You probably wouldn't even know it's there unless I told you that I've sealed it. So how I start is I usually begin, and this process can take a while because I paint, I let dry, I paint, I let dry, I paint, I let dry. So you usually have to have something else going on because you're going to put this aside until it dries. So I always start with the shoulder gutters here on both sides, and I will usually hold it because these shoulder gutters on all my books are already all done. I'm just going to use a dry brush and show you how I do it. I usually will get a little bit of Mod Podge. I reuse my husband's Pringles can lids for paints and glues and things like that. And usually I'll get a little bit, just a little bit, on a brush, and I will simply just go in that gutter like this. Make it smooth. Try not to start spreading it out, because I do find with Mod Podge, you do run a risk of seeing the edge lines where you had dried stages of applying Mod Podge. So what I do, very thin coat of Mod Podge into the gutters on both sides like this, very thin. My reasoning for that is sometimes if you go too thick with Mod Podge or too many layers, because I only do one for the shoulders, if you do it too thick or too many layers and then you start doing a bend, 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 it can start cracking and flaking. So I do one very thin layer in there, and mostly I do it because Mod Podge actually makes the color of a book. I love what it does for the color. It makes it look richer. Hold on, I'm going to go grab an unfinished one. Oh wait, what am I thinking? The backs of these are unfinished. So here is one of these encyclopedias. The back has not been Mod Podged. This front has been Mod Podged. Do you see the difference? This is not only a little bit, it's certainly more matte, and the little marks in that are more evident. Once the Mod Podge goes on, it just makes the color a little bit richer. It camouflages some of these little dings and color variances or flaws where maybe there's been a little spill. It's just a nice thing. But in order to have these shoulder gutters the same color, because this color obviously changes, I just do one thin little application down there, other side, and then I usually will put it upright and let it dry. And I'll walk away and I'll leave it alone. And it doesn't take long because it's been one thin little coating. So, you can walk away and go make a cup of tea and come back. It'll be dry. Or work on something else. In my case, because I've been doing 5 books, pardon me, I can literally just keep going through stage by stage of each book, and that is just fine. So first step is one very thin coat to the shoulder gutters. Then the next stage is I will do the back, the spine. So I actually start on the inside. Again, very thin, and I will go in and I will do the inside there and there. We're just pretending because all these books have already been done. So very thin coat there and there. Then I flip it over, and that's when I will do the spine. I like doing the spine upright. So in this case, sometimes I will grab handy dandy rocks. You know, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I like using my rocks. So I'll just put rocks to keep it upright so it doesn't suddenly flop down on you mid stroke. And then again, this is where I will actually use a little bit more Mod Podge because I want to see the brush strokes. And I will literally just start at the top and just start applying in one direction. And I just keep going until I have done the whole thing. And then I take a look and see and make sure, sometimes I'll use my finger and make sure that there hasn't been any buildup right along these edges. And I'll make sure that, again, here, no buildup. I try my best just to keep my strokes on this back. Your shoulders have already been done. Really try to resist wanting to reapply again to those shoulder gutters. They will be fine. You got to trust me on this. So that's what I do next. And then again, walk away from it. You can pick it up and put it somewhere else and let it dry and have fun working on another project. So that's easy enough. But yeah, walk away from it, let your spine dry. The next thing I will do, and it really doesn't matter which one you do, I did the fronts already simply because I get excited and I want to see what they look like. So in my case, with the quints here, I did the covers first. And what I will do next is, and make sure you've got clean hands when you're doing this, because if you're me, you have to pick up and work on it in your hand for a lot of it. I will use my brush again, and I can use this one. In this case, I'll move to a bigger brush. You'll get through it faster. And this is where I'll use a very thin amount again, similar to what you used in your shoulders. And I will do the inside with a curving motion just to get this all applied. And again, I'm doing this for the continuity of the color because there will be a slight color change. And you'll see if you don't, I see it. I bet there are people out there that this is just not an important step to them. And you know what? I applaud them. I wish I wasn't so fussy. But I will just go along here, sort of do a curving motion and get all that edge done. I will flip it over. And then again, I will just use my fingers and I'll just sort of wipe off any buildup because it'll be milky white color. And I'll wipe that off. And then usually I want it up. So normally I would put one of my bricks under here, but my bricks are underneath my laptop over there and I don't want to move it right now. So I just like it up so that if I need to, I can access these edges while I'm painting this. And then again, I start on this side and I move that way. And then with this one, it'll be a similar thing. I'll do dab, 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 dab around the inside edge. Make sure that's clean. And then I will start at the shoulder. That way it's not tempting to reapply Mod Podge to your shoulder gutter. So if you get it done first, right off the bat, then you know you don't go back there. It's done. Don't go back. If you go this way down, I'm saying me, you might have more self-control than I do. You know, sometimes I guess some people could work from the top down. It is good to have a pattern, or else it can be tempting to start trying to reapply, especially if it starts drying and you're not sure, uh-oh, did I reapply there or didn't I? So it's very good to decide on a pattern and just stick with it and you'll get your covers covered. So for me, my pattern is I start there, I get right up to the edge of the shoulder gutter and I go all the way down that way. And then I start bringing it over to the edge. And then the last thing I'll do again is check to make sure there's no drippy buildup around here. And then off it goes somewhere to dry. So actually right now I am going to do this back cover, so you'll get to see how I do it. Now let's see if my camera angle is okay. Yeah, you can see. All right. Keep something either plasticky. I cut sandwich bags in half so that I get 2 sheets per sandwich bag, and usually, because I knew I'd be on camera today, I have a fresh one. I try to make them last as long as I possibly can. And that way you can put your wet Mod Podge brushes inside them while you do something else and it won't start drying. Mod Podge will ruin your brush. Some people like those disposable sponge brushes. I don't like them because they don't give me the nice movement strokes that a brush will give me. As soon as you're done using Mod Podge, wash your brushes. Wash your brushes thoroughly. Actually, you can use a little bit of dish soap and wash them right out. Get your nails in there and feel, because there will be little crusty bits of Mod Podge in there, and just make sure, spread your bristles apart, and your Mod Podge brushes should last you a long, long, long time. This one, like I said, I got it at Dollar Tree, and I've had it for a long time now, and it's terrific. And it's just a Dollar Tree brush. It came in a package of 3. So that's how I get ready. And then I have my Mod Podge. This one's almost empty. So I can see some flaky things on here. So I want a clean surface to begin with, or else you could Mod Podge some little hunks of dust right onto your cover. Probably wouldn't be that noticeable, but I'm just going to give it a little brush and we're good to go. So I pour my Mod Podge in little blops of about 25 cents worth, because I would rather replenish it with fresh than have it start trying to dry out on me. So just a little bit. And then I want the thick part away so that I can fan up. Oh, you know what? See, I'm not even following my own rule. But now I've got to finish this. Usually I start on the other side. You guys, you've got me all Twitter-pated here, as my dad would say. So I'm going to have to do the other side last. It won't hurt. Catherine, you're not even following your own rules. So see how I'm just sort of doing a curving motion and getting as close to that shoulder gutter as I can without going into it. It's like you're sort of fanning your brush out and doing a little swirl. There we go. Now this gets easier, because this part you can just get more and just, and again, this is me. I like the swirlies. Some people might get that edge done and then smooth it out, and that would be fine. Nothing wrong with that. If you want a smooth finish, go for it. Don't be panicking that this looks white. It dries clear. So I sort of work in maybe about 2-inch increments. I'm going to hold this side. Some people will pour their Mod Podge right on to their book cover. I've had bad experiences with that, so I don't do it. But if you're okay with that, by all means, pour it right onto your book cover. There we go. So we've got the cover done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go along do that inside little edge. Don't worry about excess because your end pages will be going in. Doesn't hurt to put a little extra on the corners, especially if they're old corners. The Mod Podge will actually give it a little bit of stability. It'll stiffen it up a bit and maybe give it a little bit of a longer life if they're sad old tired corners. So then I just check my edges. Just lightly. Go in with your finger if you need to, just on the edge. Don't put your fingers on the cover. You could end up with a fingerprint in your Mod Podge. And I say that from experience. There we go. So that little baby's done. So I lift up my plastic here and put my wet brush inside there. That way I can take my time and move this out of the way. And let it dry. So let's do the next one. How much time have I got? Oh, I got a few minutes. All right, so let's work on Margaret and Ursula here. I've been calling them that because it's Shakespeare. Much Ado About Nothing is behind them because I thought she looked rather Shakespearean in her ruff there, her ruffled collar. And so this is Act 3 from Scene 1 from Much Ado About Nothing. And it's Margaret and Ursula are mentioned at the opening. So that's Margaret and Ursula. Anyhow, I can tell, I can see my brush strokes. This I've already done. And of course, I know I've done my shoulders. I know I've done my spine. So I'm going to do the inside of the back. Come on, I know that this bottle is almost empty. There we go. Oh, come on. Let me move my alarm. And I don't need you today. So flip that over. There we go. So very light amount for when you're doing this side. And just go around. I just find that by running it off the edge of the page, that's enough to get it around that edge. And then when you do the front, they'll sort of, the two edges will meet. Then you have to start being aware and try and keep your non-dominant hand clean, because if you get some Mod Podge on this hand and then you grab your nice cover, you can leave Mod Podge fingerprints on your already finished side, whether you've done, the back or the front first. So I'm mostly just running it off the edge so that there's no gloopy pieces. There we go. And now I'm going to flip it over and we're going to do this side. There we go. And not too heavy at first because I'm going to be approaching the that shoulder gutter, and I don't want too much buildup. Where that fold is, you can end up with buildup. See, I can already see some got in there, and I'm going to go in and take it out. There we go. Put that in my plastic. Just get it as close as you can without going in the gutter. And again, I just sort of fan it out and go up to meet that edge. It's almost how, I don't know any of you, if you paint your houses, if you freehand your edges for like doing your ceilings and your moldings and that, and you just fan out your brush strokes, and you can get a nice smooth edge up there just by doing that fan motion. And for me, that gives me my nice swirly movement that I like from the brush strokes. I think that's finally done. Let's start a new one. There we go. So because I've already done that shoulder part, now I'm going to move in about a 2-inch swatch and do the next layer. And just sort of carefully let it go over the edge like that. And don't panic, thinking that, oh, that looks awfully white. It dries clear. Don't be tempted to do too much work with your brush stroke patterns, because if it starts drying and it's not liquid and movable anymore, you can actually make more of a mess of it. And I've learned that through experience. So now I'm going to just do a little double check and then make sure that my edges. So again, I'm only using my right hand to do any little touching just on the edge, not on the front. In case I see any like that there, I want that off. There we go. That is done. So let's put you back into the plastic. So I've got my wet brushes just in under my little, under those. Now let's take a look. I've got there we go. Let's take a look at the one I did before, because we're almost out of time. So we did the little cranky owl, and it's still a little damp. I can see some white still there, but for the most part, that looks really nice. I'm happy. And I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to get started on the next one because I still have 2 more to go. So, how are we for time? Yeah, I'm down. I'm almost out of time. Well, listen. Hey, happy Friday. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay healthy. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye.